about a great relief from the suffering and the stresses of everyday life. And when I've been delivering books, like a couple of weeks ago, I was in Devon and Cornwall, went to about 250 care homes. So they're all getting packs of books. And when I explained to them that actually these are to help relief from the stresses and distress of everyday life. And the nurses and staff there were thinking, we could certainly use some of that. Because it's actually not just the residents who are on their way out and in a distressed condition in so many places, but the staff themselves are so stressed out.
Oh, a very stressful situation they're in.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
And this one place I went to, there were a dementia situation in a care home, and the people, the residents were walking here and there and getting in the way, and the staff were running around, and the alarms were going off, and said, "Oh, sorry, can't talk to you now. That's an emergency alarm gone off," and it was just like a madhouse.
Sounds like the world out in the street it doesn't sound much different than the street, to be honest. Sounds pretty similar. At least in Paris, the center of Paris is just like that. Like crazy, absolutely crazy.
It really needs literatures, some understanding that Prabhupada's trying to give.
Well, somebody should try to give that spark there. I mean, in France, there must be a way of getting something more than what we're doing now, I'm sure. Well, it must be. Bookshops, occasionally we can do, but everything's centralized now. You can't go, all the libraries are centralized, everything's centralized. Even bookshops, the main bookshops is like they have a kind of like all online and everything's kind of centralized through warehouses and things. That's the idea, isn't it? To try to make everything controlled from one centralized corner. But there's still a bit of individuality left. At least the people are like that. Amazing program. Good. Well, that's wonderful to hear.
Prabhupada did say we have to rack our brains to try to find.
Yeah, I haven't got any brains left. My brains they've all been racked. I've finished. I might be in one of those homes. You might come and give me a set of books. I'll carry on the way I'm going.
I met one of our godbrothers in one of the homes.
You didn't. Huh? Oh my goodness.
He was pretty far gone.
Yeah, there's quite a few have gone like that.
We took him Prasada, we took him some books.
Yeah.
And some association.
Tell me about it afterwards. Amazing. We managed to distribute during the Bhadra campaign some sets in France. We did 115 Bhagavatam sets on the Bhadra campaign. Something. Between sponsored and sales, 50-50 maybe. I don't know. Mostly sales, actually. 3/4 sales. 25% sponsored. There's something. Throughout France. Nothing like you do over here in the UK, I know that. But still, it's not bad for France. We distribute books in French, of course, mainly French sets, which were printed 2 or 3 years back. And English, a lot of English sets go out. And a lot of Hindi, Bengali, Tamil. I think they're the 5 sets that we distribute mostly. So anyway, it's a wonderful program to see people getting Bhagavatam. Wonderful. And then you follow up, Obviously the follow-up is important. And so on and so forth. It's a great start. Get those Bhagavatam sets out there. You still have those little ones, those small ones? Yeah, the small little ones, the little blue or white ones, whatever they were. All those sets are gone. They were amazing. Anyway, the big ones are there. Beautiful, big printing. That's a fact. They're much easier to read. They cost more, but they're much easier to read. And a lot of people ask that. In fact, that happened recently. One of the sets we sold was because the person had the small one and they wanted the big one. They couldn't read it anymore. They were getting too old to read it, so they wanted the big one. Nice. Yeah. Get the sets in, and they just advertise. You don't even, sometimes, many sets were sold without doing anything. You just put it on your newsletter. You don't have to do anything. People order it. You don't have to do much to do that. You just have to put a little article or an advertisement there, a page dedicated to Bhagavatam or something. And some people, if they're lucky, some people will order it. Nice. Any books like that. I remember a few marathons ago, one of our devotees was on the Sankirtan, and he was interviewed. There was this guy from TikTok. TikTok is some kind of, what is it, some kind of Facebook similar thing, or what is it?
Anti-social media.
Anti-social media, okay. Something like that. So this guy was like, this big guy on TikTok. He had apparently he had like millions of people following on TikTok. We didn't know that. He didn't know that at the time. The guy was going around interviewing people on the street. It was one of the things he used to do. He used to interview unusual people on the street and, ask them questions and, try to make a sort of a show about it, So he came up to that devotee who was just doing books, and he talked to him. This devotee he didn't know who he was meeting. This devotee is like, he can talk his way out of anything. He's like a gift of the God for talking, French. And he just went on, and he got the guy laughing and agreeing with everything he said and everything. He was a really expert at that, And the guy was laughing and said, "Do you think if I get this book, do you think my girlfriend will be..." He was like all kinds of jokes. He was, And the guy then started talking. He said, "Yeah, this is the solution." And they were talking about Bhagavad Gita. He was showing the book. All the answers are in here. He was going through the whole thing. And the guy was really impressed with him. And he put it on his show. We must have sold about 300 or 400 Gitas online from that one show. 5-minute interview. Even in BLS, they were selling. They couldn't realize why their sales went up 2 or 3 times the next month of French Gitas. Different things, People advertise. And your congregation are growing, and they're a really great force to push forward this movement. You don't have to be a Scotsman to do that. You can be Indian also. Anyone can do it. The biggest book distributor in the world is Indian. He's not in India, he's in America. You know who that is. Mahotsa. He's from Tamil Nadu. We can't imitate Mahotsa. 5,000 big books in one day. It's inconceivable, isn't it? It's inconceivable. And that's not like, that's going out. It's not like it's sending them out in the mail or delivering them. Everything's good. It's all good, by the way. He actually went to a big fair, like an exhibition, like a yoga fair of some kind. That's where he did 5,000 big books in one day. So then mostly 80-90% to American people. I was just watched the video of him doing it. One lady, she bought 3 sets on the spot. Not 1, 3. One for her sister, one for, one for her dog, all the different members of the family, We can't imitate, So at least the spirit is there. We're not out to compete like that. We're out to develop this spirit of compassion, this spirit of Lord Nityananda, the spirit of Srila Prabhupada, depending on Krishna, whatever he wants. We may not be ready to get such accolade or such praise or recognition. It may not be good for us. But to develop that mood, that spirit, Prabhupada wasn't attached to the result. He was attached to service, attached to the privilege of being able to execute or try to execute the spiritual master's instruction. Instrument. An instrument in your hands. Nimitta matra bhavisavisacha. Oh, Arjuna, just be an instrument. That's all. I don't want to be an instrument. That sounds pretty boring, doesn't it? Okay, can you bring in the instrument, please? Here he is. Number 1,955,432. Okay, stick it there. You don't realize what that means. We have mundane perception. Happiness comes from Krishna's pleasure. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. We wish you all the best on your incredible campaign today.